So, let's talk about Triphala. It's a name you've probably heard, right? A total staple in Ayurvedic medicine, praised for all these incredible health benefits. But what if I told you that most of us, maybe even you, have been using this ancient remedy completely wrong? It turns out the real secret to unlocking its power isn't just about what's in it, but in a forgotten method that we're about to rediscover together.
Getting it right is actually pretty simple. It all boils down to two things: the exact ratio of its ingredients and, this is the kicker, the time of day you take it. If you get these wrong, you're honestly missing out on most of what it can do for you.
All right, here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with a quick introduction to what Triphala even is. Then we'll dive right into that secret ratio and explore why taking it in the morning versus at night are two totally different ballgames. After that, we'll talk about the right way to take it, some essential rules to keep in mind, and finish up by looking at why this is a true treasure hiding right in your kitchen.
Okay, so first things first, what exactly is Triphala? Well, the name itself literally means three fruits. And its real power, its magic, comes from its unique ability to bring balance to all three of the body's primary energies, or doshas, as they're known in Ayurveda: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And those three powerhouse fruits are hardtrad, which is fantastic for detoxification; Beheta, amazing for respiratory health; and of course, Amla, which is just jam-packed with vitamin C. Look, each one is a solid remedy all on its own, but when you combine them in the right way, the synergy is it's truly remarkable. But here's the thing. You can't just throw them together and call it a day. And this is where we get to the core of this whole ancient method. The true power of Triphala is locked inside a very specific formula that, believe it or not, has been mostly forgotten over time. Now, here is the single biggest mistake. Most of the Triphala you'll find sold today, maybe even the one you have at home, is made with an equal 1-to-1-to-1 ratio. According to the ancient texts, particularly from the scholar Vagbhata, this just isn't the most effective way to do it for our general health. So what's the correct ancient formula? It's a 1-to-2-to-3 ratio. That means for every 1 part of Harad, you need 2 parts of Baheta and a full 3 parts of Amala. To make it super simple, if you use 100 grams of Harad, you'd mix it with 200 grams of Baheta and 300 grams of Amala. This specific balance is what really unlocks its full potential. Okay, so you've got the 1-2-3 ratio down, awesome. But that's only half the secret. The other part, which is just as crucial, is when you actually take it. Because, and this is wild, Triphala acts like two completely different substances depending on the time of day. This is so cool. If you take it in the morning with a bit of jaggery or honey, Triphala acts as a poshak, which means it's a nourisher. It basically floods your body with essential nutrients like vitamins, iron, and calcium. But if you take that same powder at night with hot water or milk, it becomes a rechak, a powerful cleanser that detoxifies your system and really cleans out the colon. So think of it this way: morning is for nutrition, night is for cleansing. So we've got the right ratio, and we know the right time to take it. Now let's put it all together. Here's your practical guide on exactly how to take it based on what you're trying to achieve. And it's really, really straightforward. If your goal is nourishment, or maybe you're trying to manage your weight, you'll take 1 large teaspoon in the morning with some jaggery or honey, about 40 minutes before you eat breakfast. Now, if your goal is cleansing or you're dealing with constipation, it's just 1 small teaspoon at night, right before bed, mixed with some warm water or milk. Easy enough, right? Now, as powerful as Triphala is, there's a really important rule you need to know. This isn't something you should just take indefinitely. There are a few key guidelines to follow to keep it safe and effective, and to make sure your body doesn't just become dependent on it. The recommended cycle, the magic number here, for taking Triphala continuously is 3 months. And after those 90 days are up, you absolutely have to take a break. We're talking about 15 to 20 days off. This pause is so crucial. It lets your body kind of reset itself so Triphala stays effective when you start again. It also helps prevent any potential side effects, like weakness, that can come from constant cleansing. So, you might be thinking, is there ever a time for that common 1-to-1-1 ratio? And the answer is yes, but only in really rare, extreme situations. The source material actually tells a story about a scientist who had severe radiation damage, and for that, he needed that stronger equal part formula. But for the vast majority of us just looking for general wellness, the 1-to-3 ratio is always the correct balance choice. When you start to put all these pieces together, you see Triphala in a whole new light. It stops being just a supplement and starts to feel like this profound piece of natural wisdom that's actually accessible to every single one of us. So let's just quickly recap the most important things to take away from all this. First, if you can, buy the whole fruits and grind them at home. This guarantees purity and you avoid all the stuff in prepackaged powders. Second, always use that 1-2-3 ratio. And third, never forget the golden rule. Morning is for nourishing, night is for cleansing. And that brings us to this really beautiful idea. We often tend to overlook things that are common or inexpensive, like these 3 fruits. But the fact that nature provides them in such abundance, well, maybe that's a sign of just how valuable they are to our health. They're truly precious gifts hiding in plain sight. So that leaves us with one final thought. When you understand the deep science behind something as simple as Triphala, it really makes you wonder, what other incredible remedies, what other ancient secrets are hiding right there in our own kitchens, just waiting for us to rediscover them?